Okay, today's lesson is lesson 3.2, which is preparing a budget sheet. So, in lesson 3.1, we discussed your average expenses, average monthly expenses, expenditures. So, in this section, we're going to talk about putting together a budget sheet. So, if you look on page 160, it says, monthly expenses. You can use records of your past expenditures to prepare a budget sheet outlining your total monthly expenses. You will want to calculate your living expenses. These include amounts for food, utility bills, and pocket money. These will vary from month to month. Other expenses, such as rent, are more fixed, and these are called fixed expenses because they do not vary from one month to the next. Also remember to consider your annual expenses such as real estate taxes, which occur once a year. So in your budget sheet, you need to have the following things. Your monthly expenses, your monthly expenses, your fixed expenses, and your annual expenses. Now, all of these should be on your monthly budget sheet. If you look down or look over on page 161, they have an example of what that looks like. So, in their monthly expenses, they have things like food and groceries, electricity, heating, internet, water, gas, other things for transportation, for your car. You could probably put insurance on there, although I guess that's generally fixed. Personal spending, so clothing, credit cards, newspapers, pocket money, going to the movies, eating out, etc. Those are all of your monthly living expenses that are not fixed. So these are things you spend money on every month, but you are finding an average for. Your fixed expenses are going to be things like your rent, your mortgage, your if you have any loans, those are going to be fixed expenses, along with your insurances, depending on how you pay that. Now, you can put your insurance as a fixed expense if you pay it once a month. It could be an annual expense, or for some of you, a biannual expense because you pay it twice a month every 6 months. Or twice a year, every 6 months. Okay, so then what you would need to do to figure out your monthly expense, so how much you spend every month, is you would add these three things together. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out how we find our monthly contribution of our annual expenses. And it is just like you think it would be. You take that annual expense. So in our book, they're asking you to use this chart, and the total annual expense is $3,759. To find out how much you want to budget each month for something like this, you would just divide it by 12 to find out what your monthly contribution is going to be. So 12 goes into 37 3 times. So it's 36, then we have 15, it goes into their ones, and then 39, again that's going to be 3 times, which is 36, which leaves us with a 3 and a 0. Bring up your decimal, 12 goes into 32 times, 12 times 2 is 24, then 60, and 12 goes into 60 5 times. So $313.25 is going to be your annual expense broken down monthly. So, in addition to that, they want you to look over at the chart and find your monthly living expenses, which totals out to be $1,089.00. And then your monthly fixed expenses, which was $1,078.00. And then to find out how much you owe or how much you pay every month in your life or in your world, you would just add those together. So 5, 2, 8 and 3 is 11 plus 9 is 20. So 2 and 8 is 10. 7 and 1 is 18. 4. So it looks like the total monthly expenses for the Millers is $2,480.25. So what you're going to continue doing with this is they are going to have you either use this specific chart with the Millers and find monthly expenses, or use the chart that's on the next page, on page 162, and use that chart as a guide for solving your problems. Look at how they set this up, because at the end of this chapter you will be making your own budget guide or expense sheet. So keep an eye out on how they put that together and what that looks like for your own self when you have to do a similar project.